Hey there everyone, Film Dude here. Gonna be talking about... I've seen it 4 to 5 times now in multiple different formats. I really do enjoy this. My review about it is, it's pretty well paced. There are certain parts that feel a bit too long. A lot of the characters are a bit one-dimensional, but that's understandable. There is a little bit of depth given to certain characters. I really do love Tom Holland's portrayal of Menace, and I love John Leguizamo's portrayal. He's got the heart of the story. Everyone else is pretty much one-dimensional. Matt Damon does a pretty good job, and I do love a lot of his little bits, but for the most part, he's supposed to be this stoic character that's going through this hardship, and halfway's okay. But what really makes this movie great is the cinematography. It's phenomenal, it's gorgeous, it's incredible. I mean, goddamn, it looks great. I mean, look at this. This image is wonderful. The music's phenomenal. Ludwig does a great job. Everything he does always feels unique and interesting. And the production design is really well done. I mean, a lot of the locations they shot are gorgeous. They feel lived in. The boat they built, the places that they shot in, the forest, the cave. I mean, the Cyclops is incredible. Like the fact that it's a puppet that they use special effects to touch up and other things like that. The Cersei moments with like the pig changing, it looks great. So I definitely recommend it. Check it out. Whatever format you can see it, it's really good. But let's get into what Christopher Nolan's trying to talk about. So spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay. So right away, Nolan is obsessed with time, he's obsessed with collapsing of civilizations, and he's obsessed with fate. And the story of the Odyssey is all of that stuff. And I really do love how he tells the story in 3 different ways, with the Ithaca storyline, which is with Odysseus' son, Menace, and Penelope, and all those rotten, disgusting suitors. It's Calypso with Odysseus on the island, where he's been exiled. And then, of course, the past, which is Odysseus traveling on the Odyssey, and also different moments of the Trojan War. It's all really well done, all of it telling of what is to be done, because what we see in Ithaca is the lasting effects of what happened in Troy. We see the beginning of the crumbling of civilization. The law of Zeus is being mistreated, it's being misused by these miscreants to their own advantage, while the occupants of the house, they are being held to higher standards of it. They can't fight these people off, they can't get them out, but they can use their violence against them. They can use any greedy tactic against them because they do not believe in the law of Zeus. It is the antithesis of what our rules and laws are built upon. And just this storyline exemplifies just what the effects of the Trojan War does. And you see Odysseus' character, played by Matt Damon, he's actively trying to forget the horrors that he has done. He is actively trying to go against fate. He's actively trying to go against time and other things like that by eating the lotus flower and staying on this island with Calypso, who welcomes him. She is in love with him, and she sees that this moment with him is her time to be having like a family, someone to connect with. And it's her own morals that sees that he is actively trying to fight against his own, him trying to take control. Fate is pushing him to find his family. He is actively remembering that there is people there that he needs to get to. He's remembering his men, he's remembering this, but he is trying to control that. He is trying to temper fate. And that's all that storyline with Calypso is him trying to hold back all the horrors that he's done. Which I really do love, that the Odyssey that his men and him go on is a reflection of what they did to Troy. Because every people that he sees on these islands, he cannot reason with them. They are unreasonable, and they are just savages. You know, they go into this Cyclops' home, which in his mind, they should be welcomed and honored, because the law of Zeus says once there is guests in your home, you must welcome them and treat them as if they are Zeus. But the Cyclops doesn't treat them like that, because to him they are just ants. They're nothing. You know, the rules have already started to come undone, and it is because of what they did. I mean, the giants that they face, they can't reason with them either. They try to reason with them, but they can't. They are an unstoppable force of death, just as they were to the Trojans. They could have reasoned with the Trojans. They could have made a peace deal, but Agamemnon wanted to kill them. Agamemnon tricked and used these men's own desires for glory and war to kill them all. And Circe shows what these men were. They're animals, they're savages, they're to their basest desires. As she screams to Odysseus, it's a little hammy, but it crams to the point that the leaders use these men's desires to do what they want, which is to kill and rape and pillage and do whatever they can for warfare. And so the only way that Odysseus can get his men back is he must go to Hades. And it is there that he's confronted with his actions, that all the men that have lost their lives in the war, not just his men, but the Trojans and people that he believed in him and trusted him. And he also sees what happens to the savages that led the war. Agamemnon is murdered by his wife because of the savagery that he portrayed on his own daughter. The actions that he does in the past leads up to his death for the future. That once you do an act of savagery, it just comes back to you. And that's what his men are going through. And that is the coming of the collapse of civilization. Once Troy fell, everything that held all of the Greek society together begins to fall apart. It began to infest because the rumors of the sea people, raping and pillaging, there is a dark force coming. And it doesn't become apparent until the end that the sea people were the Greeks. They are the rumors, the myths that spread throughout the islands, because that is the only way stories are told. They're myths, they're told and passed on. And so Odysseus finds out how to get home, but he is told that his men will die and there's nothing he can do. So he actively goes against fate. He actively tries to stop it and goes against everything he can because that is what he needs to do. But he cannot fight against it. He cannot go against it. And it's so interesting that in him trying to fight against it, him trying to go against fate, it leads to the fate happening. It leads to his men dying. It leads to him being flown and clashes onto Calypso's island. And yeah, it's powerful. This whole journey is him reflecting on the horrors that he portrays. And we as an audience do not get told what the horrors are until he is telling Penelope what he has experienced. And we see the savagery firsthand. We see the unbridled rage that he himself is experiencing, which leads to not only the destruction of Troy and the innocent people being killed, but a destruction of Athena's temple and an innocent disciple, a priestess, being murdered, being beheaded. He must now live with this guilt that he's killed all these people, he's killed his own men, he's led them down this dark path, and that he must now right the wrong, which is the killing of all these suitors, which are the representation of the collapsing of society. They're the rotting branches of the tree, and he needs to prune them. And in pruning them, he establishes the laws again and is exiled. But as he laments with Penelope as they're going to the Western Sea to honor his men and to live out his exile, he laments that the age has collapsed. Society has ended, and there is a dark age to come, and that these stories must be told. The story of Troy must be told, because the people that could read it, or the people that could write it, they will be gone, and it will be only word of mouth. It's really interesting that this is, in my opinion, the best interpretation of fate and man's desire to fight against it, yet you cannot fight against it. It is predetermined in a way, and that our hastening of it is us trying to fight against it, to flounder against it. And I think The Odyssey is a perfect example. I think Nolan does a great job. I mean, you see this, as I said before, in a lot of his other films where he's obsessed with time and all this stuff. You see it in The Dark Knight Rises. You see it in Dunkirk. You see it in Interstellar and in Inception and all these movies. And I just feel like The Odyssey is the primest example of examining this idea. I mean, Oppenheimer is probably my favorite movie by him, and I think it does a great job. But The Odyssey, it's just because it's so, not just bare bones, but it's just the classic hero's journey and used in an interesting way to lament on it. It's just great. But that's just my opinion. You tell me what you think. Leave a like, a comment, and a follow. I appreciate everyone that follows me, watches my videos, and all that stuff. I'll see you for the next one. Bye, guys.